Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily, but you can call me Ems. Today we're doing the other part of my fantasy pattern roundup. This is the crochet one. If you did not see the knitting one, you can head on back to that last video and let me know what you think about the knitting patterns. But for today, let's jump right in. So the first crochet pattern I want to feature on this roundup is the Crocodile Stitch Capelet by Bonita Patterns. I have actually been interested in this pattern for a long time. I just think it is really pretty. I have never crocheted it before. The crochet crocodile stitch is one that you're going to see a lot today. It is really fun, it's very different, and it's very textured and three-dimensional. So this hood features that quite heavily, along with what I believe is a puff stitch or a puff V stitch. That is just so cute. It is using DK yarn and a 5mm hook. It is just a simple little shoulder capelet, and it's giving fantasy. It's giving everything I want in the fall period into the holidays. Next, we have the Dragon Slippers Crocodile Stitch Boots Adult. This is also by Bonita Patterns. She uses a lot of crocodile stitch and it just gives me the vibe. The vibe's there, I'm telling you. And these are just such cute little slippers, similar to the socks from the knitting video that gave me that elven vibe. This also gives me an elven vibe. This is like what the elves would wear around their home. Like, this is what they're walking around in Rivendell. Like, that, you can't convince me otherwise. This is what they're rolling up with in the winter. The next pattern goes a little bit into a steampunk realm, but still keeps that fantasy vibe. And it is Hardware Heaven Statement Neck Piece by Sarah Jane Jackson. They've also done other pieces of Hardware Heaven. I own the full Hardware Heaven set. Like, there's these cuffs, there's these like little boot things, and then there's the statement neck piece. It is really beautiful. You can add chain and buttons and pendants and that sort of thing to it. It has this really interesting feather-like thing coming from the neck, so it's kind of like a neck choker, and then it's got these feather-like pauldrons essentially coming off of it, and you can add buttons along here, and then from the buttons you can add these chains or a pendant or what have you. I just think it's really fun. It is called Hardware Heaven because of the addition of the metal, and it just has this very interesting vibe that I think we don't often see in crochet pieces or even knit pieces. Is this mixture of jewelry work and the actual fiber art. So I think that's something that's underrated in the knitwear and crochet world, is using your fiber art to create essentially jewelry. I think it's quite underrated because everyone's just thinking about, oh, it's a granny square earring. Okay. Or, oh, it's a crochet chain that you made into a necklace. I think it's more about texture and interesting, like, intermixing media, that sort of thing. That's the vibe we're going for. Next is a crochet piece that took my breath away. The Dragonscape Mosaic Afghan by Abby McIntyre. This is mosaic crochet, which is so fun. If you want to learn to do mosaic crochet, I recommend Sixel Designs. I learned how to do the different basic stuff in mosaic crochet from her. This is like next level, holy crow, 2-color mosaic crochet. Usually in 2-color mosaic crochet, things are a little bit easier, but this is so intricate and detailed and beautiful. It is a dragon flying in the night sky above a city that is on the water with these trees in the foreground, these mountains in the background. So much dimension is brought into this Afghan. It is stunning. Like, I wouldn't use this as a blanket. I would be displaying this as a tapestry. That is how stunningly beautiful it is. Like, I'm shook and floored even just looking back on it, even though I know I added it to this list for a reason. Now, it wouldn't be a crochet fantasy roundup without something from Crafty Intentions. This is Small Wyvern by Megan Lapp. She has so many different dragon and wyvern patterns. There's just so many of them. It was so difficult to choose. I decided to go with Small Wyvern because I think this one, if you put wire into it to make it posable and added clips to the feet, you could have it sit on your shoulder or on your arm, and it could be kind of like looking like you're in Dungeons and Dragons and like you have a pseudo dragon as a familiar or something like that. That's the vibe I'm going with on this one. I'm not usually much for making plushies, stuffies, whatever you want to call them, amigurumi. I'm not usually in that realm, but I might make an exception for this one, as well as the next one, which is the Fantasy Flail by Rare Artifice Fiber Art. They have made a bunch of different weapons. I just thought the flail was really cute. It even has like the chain. It's so fun. This is done literally with loops and threads, snuggles, light. So like this is literally like a blanket yarn from Michaels, your basic. It's so good. This would be so good if you have children and you're super into fantasy. You can make them all these little fantasy weapons. They also have like a sword and an axe as well, but the flail took me out. It was so cute. Next, we're going into a little bit more of a fantasy bohemian, like music festival vibe, and this is the Fantasy Explorers Armored Capelet by Jessa Tries. This is a really cute little capelet. It's got a lot of texture built into it, and it just looks like you're going on a little adventure, and like, so it's just named really well. You're just going, you're ready to be taken off by a bunch of dwarves and go to Mount Doom. You're ready to go. Like, it just is so cute, and it's also giving me that, like, hippie shop vibe that sometimes I love. Now, a form of crochet that I think is sometimes underrated because it's seen as so old or old lady-ish is filet crochet, especially filet crochet in all white. I think a lot of people steer away from it because they don't want a table runner that looks like your grandmother made it. Well, they're wrong. First of all, they're fantastic. But second of all, just look at this. It's a Hobbit door hanger, and it's home sweet hole. Home sweet hole. Because the hobbits live in hobbit holes. It made me giggle, so I had to include it. I also just think it's fun. Hell yeah. The next pattern is actually one that I have made for myself before, as well as for a friend, and it is the XL Dragon Scale Dice Bag, because of course, if I love fantasy, I am into tabletop role-playing games, and I need my shiny math rocks. So I made this bag with some leftover, like just some leftover yarn. It's not like that cute of a, like the one that I made is not that cute because the colors are just kind of all over the place because I used some leftover, I think it was like a Karen cinnamon swirl cake, and it was just, the colors laid weird. So that was on me, but it is such a fun pattern, super easy. You can crochet a lining if you want to. And it, again, uses that crocodile stitch. This is by Jessica Ryan. I think I forgot to mention that. And just chuck in your shiny math rocks. And it is quite a large bag. It fits a lot of dice. Maybe not Laura Bailey levels of dice, but it does fit a lot of dice. So be prepared for that. It is extra large. And last but most certainly not least for this crochet fantasy pattern roundup is the Fairy Flower Hat by Stephanie Picorni, who is Crochetverse on Ravelry and on, I believe, Instagram as well. This is just, you're a little fairy and you're wearing a flower as a hat. Like, can I be more obvious? It's not fantasy if you don't have at least some fairies in there. So for all my fairy lovers, this one's for you. It's just so cute. You've got like all these petals. You've got these inner petals as well. You even have like the little leaf on the top, and it just is so cute. Ah. This is definitely one that I want to make myself. And I've made the mushroom hat that I believe is by the Mad Hatter. And this is giving me a similar vibe of like fairy flower. Just so cute. So let me know in the comments down below which was your favorite pattern out of all of these. And if you have anything that you would like to add to the crochet fantasy list, leave it for me down below. Don't include a link because YouTube gets weird about links. Maybe leave like the name of the pattern and the designer, and I'll be able to find it on Ravelry, or let me know if it's not on Ravelry, because I'm also open to things that don't post on people that don't post their stuff on Ravelry. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope you have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week. Bye.